Thank you to Javier Becerra, and you have carried on in California with real leadership on this issue since you left the U.S. House. Thank you for coming back home today to be with us on this historic day. Look behind me. The president says you are looking at very tough and hardened criminals. Take a good look at these criminals, would you? That's what the president tweeted this morning about these young men and women. He said that they were no longer young and angels. Well, none of us are that young anymore, I can tell you that. And I don't know who among us would claim to be an angel. But this much we know about these men and women, young men and women standing behind me. You are looking at some of the most determined and courageous people in the United States of America. They have lived their entire lives under the shadow of an immigration status which has raised a question every time someone knocked on the door. They have been counseled and warned by their parents not to say the wrong thing, not to do the wrong thing, or their entire family could pay the price. That is the price that they have paid to be here today. And at one moment in history under President Obama, we said, we're going to give you a chance. You've got to come forward, go through a criminal background check, pay a substantial fee, and we'll give you your chance to stay in the United States on a temporary basis for 2 years, renewable every 2 years. We won't deport you, and we'll let you take a job. And what did they do? 790,000 of them trusted this government and stepped forward and signed up. Many of their parents warned them, don't put your name on that list with the government. It could come back to hurt our families. But they had the courage and the belief that what their government told them was the truth. They came forward and signed up. 90% of them are working today. Over half of them are in school today. They are teachers and engineers and members of our military. They're our dream of the future. Well, this battle for the dreamers in my life, my political life, began 19 years ago when I introduced the DREAM Act. 19 years ago. It's been a long time to make that trip over to the Supreme Court this morning. But there's hardly been a chapter written in the civil rights history of the United States that hasn't taken a long time. When you're fighting for justice, you've got to be determined and patient. The president tells us when it comes to immigrants, it's fear, it's hate. When I look behind me at these DACA recipients, I don't see that at all. I see courage, and I see hope, and I see the future of the United States of America. Today we heard the arguments in the Supreme Court. It's my prayer that they'll come down our way for the good of those who stand behind me and so many others. But it's also my prayer that it comes down our way for the good of the United States of America. What's at stake here is not just their fate. What's at stake there is our values as Americans. Immigrants from all over the world who came to this country and said, we can make this a better place. And thank goodness our parents and grandparents believed that and led us to this moment. Now we have to move forward. We know what we face. Bob Menendez, you know what our problem is in the Senate. We've got a good bill, an excellent bill, passed by the U.S. House of Representatives. It's sitting on the calendar in the United States Senate. Senator Menendez and I will be making unanimous consent requests this week to bring this measure to the floor. I can tell you it's an uphill battle, but we want the other party to go on record. When the president said, let's legislate an issue, let's legislate an agreement, we're going to call him at his word. We're going to ask Senator McConnell to bring this matter to the floor of the Senate this week.